Bakit? Ano yan?
Time.
Randall Drew Velasco. Hoy, okay.
Di ko ma-post, nahihiya ako. Pinadala ko lang sa family.
Named after you naman eh. Named after you. Oh, so good afternoon everyone.
Good afternoon. Hello.
Where are we today? What place is this?
You are in my my home.
Yeah.
Oo nga. I normally don't show my house, but lakas ni Marvin is
Parang nasa
welcome.
States ako eh. Oh, parang ganong feeling.
Welcome. Ano yan? Labor of years of planning and preparation. Diba? Sa pera naman dapat ginagamit din eh.
Okay. So if people would like to get a house, before we start our discussion,
Yes.
should they rent first for a couple of years, then buy, or should they buy and
I think
skip and just
There's
parang pay off
there's
amortization?
no hard and fast rule. There are advantages and advantages and disadvantages by outright purchasing or amortizing or renting first. Sa akin, it's an issue of cash flow. It's an issue of meron bang gusto mo na ba yung bahay mo? Kasi the downside, Marvs, okay nga, no? I mean, it kind of makes sense na why rent when you can actually start to pay. But is that the house that you want to stay in? Kasi ako, my story was, we started, we have a property before na hinulugan ko na, and then I realized I don't want to stay there. So parang,
So binenta nyo?
binenta ko rin, it was kind of difficult. So make sure that it's the house that you want to stay in.
Pero is there a study ba that yung interest rates na binabayaran mo for the bank, will it compensate for yung masisave mo na you buy the asset yourself?
Depends kasi kung meron ka bang paggagamitan ng money. Like in the case of Marvin, he invests his money, so he's probably going to make more money in your investments rather than appreciation of your property. But again, a house is not an investment. A house is something that you want to be able to use. So again, no hard and fast rules. Really, it has to be time. And I always ako personally, I'm okay to rent forever. Except that, I have to think about my wife and my kids too.
But for people in their 20s, rule of thumb, better rent or buy already?
Siguro, kasi you're building pa your future, your assets, maybe rental is a good option first.
Okay.
Or stay with your parents.
Stay with your parents. But when they get married, siguro first 2-3 years,
My
rent
rule,
or buy
my
already?
first rule is, when you're married, do not stay with your parents. Okay?
Okay.
So maybe in the first few years, may want to rent out just to try it first. Kasi once you start to amortize, you're locked in for like 10, 15 years. So make sure that that's what you really want to do.
Okay.
It's not easy to unload and to sell property kasi that's the problem.
Pero what do you recommend also? Should they get a loan for 5 years, 10 years, or 15 years na loan?
Again, depends on your affordability, depends on the property that you're buying, no? Basically, the market goes for about 10-15 naman anyway.
Okay.
So, unlike in the US that you have a 30, 40,
Pero better
wala
ba?
tayo dito
Pag
nun
15, of course, you will pay more later on. Pag 5, you pay bigger upfront already.
Yeah, it depends on your cash flow pa rin, Marvs. Kasi, mababa nga, pero, di ba, I mean, rule of thumb, you're not supposed to spend more than 30% of your take-home pay on amortization kasi wala na quality of life.
Okay.
So, di ba, I mean, what if you pay 60-70% of your money on your amortization? Ano na yun, gipit ka na masyado.
Okay, good rule of thumb yun. not more than 30% for amortization and rental.
Yeah. Rental dapat di ganun kalaki. Kasi
30%, okay.
I think that's too much. Again, it depends. If you're starting and you're forced to, rent. Again, so it really depends on the present situation. Pero, you want to take it. There are many factors right now. No? There are many factors like travel time. Mura nga yung rent mo, pero ang traffic mo naman, ang layo mo naman. You pay for more gas, parking, and everything. So those things are factors today.
Okay, pero
It's a little bit more complicated nowadays.
okay, ako kasi parang we were thinking moving back south kaso it's more traffic. So we were thinking to get we like the Taguig area somewhere closer sana there. Pero what would you
Alam mo, the economy should be, may opportunity costing kasi yan eh. Like in my case, I could have moved farther away, but my work is in the metro eh. So I can't, I don't want to travel very far for my talks and all these things. So again, this is a quality. Plus, eventually, if you have kids, you have to consider that they're going to go schooling. You wouldn't want to, make them to travel too long, or especially you want them to go to a particular school. So don't live too far away from that. Some of my friends, naawa ko kasi, they work so far. I mean, they want to buy a house, pipilitin nila, but they travel 3 hours one way to get to work.
That's hard nga eh. Paano pag
hard, no?
ganun? Lalo na when they start building the infrastructure here, it might be More traffic the next 5 years.
Tsaka, syempre, the quality of life. You want to be able to spend time with your kids, and so forth and so on.
If you have a choice, large house, malayo, with driver, malapit ka, no driver.
Baka malapit
pero mas mahal yung cost mo to get a driver, syempre the overhead of that na mas malayo.
You know, I think
and then the toll also.
Because I'm old, time for me is a little bit more precious.
Okay.
So ako, anything that saves time is good for me. But then, having said that, it really depends on your situation.
Okay. So,
kasi I don't like waiting anymore.
Key takeaway, a house, pag titiran mo, it's not an asset.
It's an asset, it's not an investment.
It's not an investment. It doesn't make money for you.
Yeah, but again, at the end of the day, you know, it can be in the future. My parents' house became an investment, not for my parents, but for us.
Later on, okay.
Later on.
Okay, so speaking of infrastructure that will go on, the tax reform bill was passed late last year.
The famous train.
The famous train was passed late last year, which was implemented now.
Waiting for the IRR.
Yeah. So, my question is this: in line with what happened to the approval of the tax reform bill, what are the biggest adjustments in investment for 2018, and what will you recommend to people on how they're supposed to approach your investments?
Well, two pros. No, number one, you have to pay more for your tax, for your stock transactions.
0.6 to 1%.
Although again, sabi nga nila, it depends on if you earn a lot of money, then that's significant, no?
For me, if since you raised that, the biggest problem with that will be for people who trade frequently.
Yeah.
Their hurdle rate will be higher.
You have to add that.
So parang instead of it will lessen liquidity sa market.
That's just a concern. I'm a long-term investment.
Yeah, but there's more brokers kasi that yun talaga yung the churn.
At saka it can also be a deterrent for some people. Hey, dadagdag na naman.
Okay.
So, again, in a bigger scheme of things, it's not supposed to affect that little bit of a transaction fee if you're investing according to your objective in the long run. I mean, that's just not even a drop in the bucket.
So that's part of the tax reform bill, no? Yung transactions, there's a bigger tax also for capital appreciation.
Meron niya kahit sa pooled fund kasi yung pooled fund mo pwedeng nagkitrade siya sa loob eh. So that can also have an effect on your NAVs.
So
although how big of an impact, I don't think it's going to be that significant.
For transactions?
Yeah.
Okay. Other part of the tax reform bill, number 1 is sugar.
Yeah.
6 pesos per liter.
Yan.
And then 12 pesos for, I think, the non-fructose.
Two sides again, Marvin.
Okay.
Number 1, syempre, di ba, I mean, it's ironic coming from me, no? Syempre, sugar is not really good for everybody. So it's going to be a deterrent. It's not like nicotine, it's not like alcohol. But again, you know, I mean, diabetes is very strong in the country, no? So that's on the side. But at the end of the day, sugar is a component in many other things, no? Not just on which I think is still gonna be important. So meron may impact yan on the way we consume.
You think Filipinos will stop buying cakes, halo-halo, kung tumaas yung prices, no?
Nope.
If they start passing it on to people?
Nagbawas pa ang tao manigarilyo nung tumaas yung tabako. Nagbawas pa alcohol nung tumaas ang alcohol. Hindi naman eh. Magbabawas ka ba ng travel pag tumaas ang gasolina? Hindi rin naman eh. We're gonna take it in.
So what's the biggest
And remember the adjustment is not like 2-3 times more expensive, diba? It's an increment, but you know, we just have to take it in.
Pero who will be hit the most, or will there be any adjustments to your investments because of it?
Number 1, at the end, you know, the way I look at the train is may winners, may losers. I mean, in a greater scheme of things, it's good for the nation because we have more money, we can build the infrastructure that we sorely need. No? So that's very important. But at the same time, the burden is going to be carried on by the masses.
Because?
Kasi indirect taxation yan eh. Indirect taxation gets passed on. And unlike us, the middle class, we're going to get tax breaks. So may pang kontra tayo. The poor who don't pay taxes, there's no additional benefit for them. I mean, of course, they're supposed to benefit from better social spending on them, but again, you know, it's to quantify those things is it's very challenging. Now, from that perspective, it might be a strain, let's say, for certain consumer stocks, no, na producing the juices, the C2s, and all these things. It might affect sales. So It might. I'm saying that it will. It might. Because,
But are you saying will it shift from Universal Robina Corporation to Del Monte since sugary products of URC will be more expensive?
When you look at this, again, it boils to preferences. Fruit juices are always expensive. It's when you look at these commodities, they may be both sugary drinks, but the components are very, very different. No? Let's say a Del Monte will almost have pure juice, so therefore it's very, very expensive to begin with. No, even with the additional cost on sugar, the sweetened iced tea is still gonna be cheaper. So again, maglilipat ba yan? I don't know. Kasi at the end of the day, it's what the Filipinos can afford.
Okay. But we're seeing the impact already, like yung sa SNR, they stopped the unlimited use of Coke already. So they're...
Buti na lang tayo may soda.
Oh, but...
Marvin and I, we used to drink a lot of soda before.
Yeah, Coke Light. Yung prinsipyo ko. Yung prinsipyo ko na pera hindi nagbibigay ng kaligayahan, pero napapaligaya ako eh. That's why I
well,
like
again, just to, para naman tayo legalistic, no? In moderation. Oh. I still take soda from time to time.
Talaga?
If I wanna enjoy, stop na. I mean, hindi ako extreme siya.
Okay, so
balance.
Because of the extra money that people now have, also, of course, you mentioned people who don't have taxes, they won't really get affected. Pero those that are earning 21,000, automatic yan, meron silang 6,000 pesos.
Pati tayo, professionals,
extra,
diba?
yeah.
Simple na yung taxation natin.
And then, yun, people who are earning before 2.5 million, yan, non-VAT pa rin sila.
Yeah, good.
So,
how will
that impact everything?
Well, of course, number one, there's going to be higher disposable income because of the tax breaks. There's going to be more money now.
Will that lead to investing or spending?
For Marvin, more investing, but for average people, probably more consumption or offset of the increasing price of goods and services.
Okay, so they'll just spend more.
I hope that they invest it. I mean, that's the whole idea of why we are writing our books, we're doing our seminars. Kasi diba, kunyari, ito Marvin, sabihin na lang, your tax break now gives you an additional 5,000 pesos, assuming. Wouldn't it be great to be able to put it in a mutual fund, a UITF, or select stocks?
Okay.
Diba?
Okay. But
that's free money.
Will mutual funds do well right now because of all of these changes in the tax reform, and given that the market is higher, we've hit historic highs again yesterday, today we're a bit sideways for the day's movement, but is there an expectation?
The difference is Marvin looks at the market from a short-term perspective. I've always looked at the market from a long. I think it's our age difference that shows that. No?
I'm 44.
Okay, I'm 34.
34.
Alam mo yung point perspective. I never really look at the market. Of course, I want to be able to be cognizant of the changes. But again, really, the tax reform is good on the onset from a macro level because it's going to create more business. It's going to create the movement of money and goods and services. With all the infra spending and all these things, going to improve, our lives going to be better. It's going to be better for business, for industry. Therefore, it's going to generate more employment. Therefore, it's going to, things like this, more stability. So that's on the big picture approach. But then again, you need to have to understand that these things takes time to be felt. Takes time to have an impact. I think everybody's bullish. The market is bullish because there's something that sparks it. Like in our case, it's the train. People are now really bullish because remember we've been waiting that for quite some time. Delay. Then finally it get passed. So it's and the way it's anticipated and so forth and so on. We've been talking about tax reform for so long. Now we finally have it. So people are really bullish. Again, the market is really about demand and supply. The demand is very high.
So for people who have 20-year horizons, would you still let them invest in equity funds, or should they consider other things, or would balance funds be better as of this point in time?
For a 20-year horizon, even 10-year horizon, equities.
Okay.
Remember, the bonds are always going to be there for a particular. It's really for medium to short-term types of investing. Anything that goes beyond 5 years, bond will be not performing very, very well.
So let's add another context. Kunyari, the economy...
So, ba't ka na mag-balance kung maghintay ka na gano'ng katagal,
Okay.
di ba?
So, kunyari, the economy is still very, very good. Tapos, for people who invested now where the market is 8.6, and then suddenly, August 2018, the market goes to, sabi natin, 7,400. What should they do? Same pa rin. 20-year horizon, the economy is still very good. The train makes the economy better, but the market starts to drop.
If that's me,
Yeah.
you know, if I'll invest whatever money I have.
Okay, so
That's available.
we'll add more.
Here's my simplified non-stock smarts type of strategy.
No.
I invest, and I know you just blogged about it. I invest cost averaging, not because it's the best form of investment, but because it works for me. It's
Okay.
functional. My principle is very different. Alam mo, ang pera na hindi ko invest, magagastos ko lang yan eh. Di ba?
So, for people who spend a lot, peso cost averaging
It's the
is
best.
good.
Kasi it's forced element eh. Pero meron akong, this is a little bit I learned from Marvin. When the market goes down, and I have extra money to invest, I will add.
Okay.
So parang cost averaging and invest in dips.
Okay.
So it's like a fusion of two ideas. So, that's you know, many, unlike Marvin, you know, sometimes I'm too busy or too involved with too many things in my life. You know, my world does not revolve around the stock market. Sa kanya does.
Ako, hindi.
My world revolves around my
Ako, my wife. Yeah.
family and my ministry.
Ako, my wife.
So those things I forget, but because of the cost averaging mechanism, it kind of works for me.
Pero for people who are doing peso cost averaging, how many years should be their time horizon?
Dapat yan at least minimum 5 to 10 years talaga yan.
5 to 10 years.
Anything it's it's really good for that because you can never really tell what the market's going on.
Okay, so for
You can see the changes, the movements of the markets, you know, the corrections and stuff.
for people doing peso cost, say they put 5,000 a month. During bonus time, should they still stick with 5,000 or should they add more?
Ayan, option na yan. I mean, basically, the whole my rule is the bigger the better.
Okay.
You know, regardless of what the market is. Especially if you're a long-term player. Diba? It doesn't matter whether it's 7.7 or 8.6 if your horizon is 10 years. You know, it's different when you're a trader again. Guys, I'm talking about investing, not talking about trading. Trading is totally a different ballgame. I'm gonna leave it to the
No.
trading guy. But I'm not a trader, you know. Again, it doesn't really matter. But again, in the context mo, saan ba dadalhin yung pera mo pag nag-bonus ka? Ikaw pang shopping mo, kakain mo, bubuffet mo, the trip mo, or invest mo? Depends. If, you know, if you're iluluho mo lang, better investing it.
So
But again, if you're gonna spend it because, you know, you wanna celebrate with your family, you're gonna, you know, a momentous occasion, then, you know, there's a reason why we save anyway.
So this is for people of 5,000, 10,000. What if you have 50,000 pesos disposable income per month that you can actually put out somewhere? Is it advisable to go for real estate investing na you would amortize a condo already?
Alam mo, Marvs, there's no perfect investment.
Okay.
I mean, property is good for some people. Maybe our parents, you know, they probably made their net worth in property. You did not. You made it somewhere else. So it really depends on your preference. There's no such thing as a best investment. But again, at the end of the day, in typical finance, you have to diversify. You build your income, you build your cash flow so that you can have some property, you can have some funds and equities. That's the right way of doing it. That's a financial planning way of doing it. Maybe if you 50,000, you spend 30,000 on an amortization and 20,000 on a fund or a stock. That's a good. Kasi may liquidity. You know, properties are great, but they're lousy with liquidity.
But would you recommend that at given prices? No, it's not just the stock market that's high.
Everything is
even
high.
Property prices are high right now. So would it be prudent for them to buy now thinking that it's expensive or just wait later on? Or should they buy away from Manila already? Bili na sila ng lupa sa provinces, farmlands, or Samar na sila bumili, Iloilo, somewhere near those business districts.
You know,
or
ako,
building.
they've always asked me, hindi ako nagre-recommend pag, alam mo, hindi ka taga doon na lugar. Kasi, that's a danger. Baka manloko ka. Ang dami. There's so many scammers in terms of property in the provinces.
How do they scam people? Especially, ayan, so
yung mga,
so you know na ano, mga fake titles,
fake titles, or meron pala ibang title, or there's so many things happening. Or, you know, just buy a farmland and just leave it be. It's gonna be a dead asset. No? Again, unless taga doon ka, may kamag-anak ka, then that's a good idea.
Okay, so if they don't know yung place, it's not
You have to do
recommended.
you have to do your homework talaga. Diba? ba?
Okay.
You have to do, we have friends, no? Our friends are from the Middle East, no? Like siya kaibigan si Alan. He buys farmlands in Pampanga kasi taga Pampanga siya. And
Kasi plants, he farms
and he
naman
farms
talaga.
there, and his wife is there.
Okay.
You know, he goes home, and that's a good idea. But you know, you buy somewhere, and you know, not gonna check, iasa mo lang.
Kasi people have this mindset na, I buy property, property prices will always go up.
Yeah.
So is that okay?
Yes, but it's an issue of long-term ba yan? Gonna go by how high, and so forth and so on. There's so way too many variables to consider for those things.
Okay. So now,
Like ako, I bought property
Okay.
for me. Well, it's not for me anymore. I think I'm really thinking about my kids. No, parang more of that.
and it's better now because estate taxes are lower, 6% also.
And higher, like your home is 10 million.
How will that impact people who are getting insurances based on estate taxes?
That's good, no? Because number one, you don't have to buy that big of an insurance. So it's cheaper, it's more for, you know, some insurance, I have a lot of insurance friends who are a little bit concerned because, you know, parang they used to sell insurance kasi mahal ang tax and everything. Mahal nga ang tax, wala naman nagbabayad.
Okay.
Diba? And even at 20%, that's gonna be, even if you buy insurance, still gonna be expensive. Now at 6%, the insurance now becomes
That's
a very,
cheaper.
very viable option. In effect, I should be able to sell more insurance now. Because, diba, 20% magdadaya ka pa or everything. Now it's 6%. It's straightforward. I just buy life insurance. It's cheaper. Assuming that you're still insurable.
So one of the biggest recipients of this will be life insurance.
Should be.
For people getting life
Should be.
insurances as well.
Unfortunately, some people in the industry think otherwise. I don't agree. That's a personal opinion, guys. But I don't agree.
Okay.
I think it should make insurance a more viable option for estate planning.
Okay, interesting. So, real estate, you have to study it very well.
Yeah, of course.
Especially that
Any
prices
form of investment. Any form of investment.
Okay.
Whether stock market, mutual funds, property, Bitcoin, whatever
Ayun,
it is.
Bitcoin, very, very interesting. For 2018, what's your, I guess, opinion about it right now?
You know, I've always taken a more neutral to more cautious perspective on Bitcoin because number one, you know, my background's economics, you know, the valuation is always going to be a problem for me. So that's a concern for. But again, I don't discount the technology of blockchain. I mean, it's there. It's going to be used a lot. It's going to be used now. You want the cryptocurrency to mature a little bit. Safeguards are going to be in place. These things are very, very important. So I don't really probably would recommend it as an investment.
Okay. Since Bitcoin, because there's also a volatility aspect from it,
yes.
from $20,000 to
13.
17 to 15 to 13, now
Yeah.
back to 15.
Yeah.
Is it something that you would recommend for people who have extra money that just want to trade it na isipin na, pan-trade na lang to kasi
Alam mo,
ano naman
kung yung pera na yan, you're okay to let it go. May joke ko dyan. Kung hindi ka maluluha pag mawala yan.
Okay.
And your risk tolerance is very high, try it.
But at this current level, is it something recommended still?
You know, for me kasi I never invest in something I don't fully understand. And really, for me, sa akin, the volatility is way too much for my own personal taste.
Kasi I think the problem with
I
it
don't
right
like
now,
that wild swings.
Tsaka naging mainstream siya na people who are not really investing are going into it without any background.
Just remember like what happened to China where the farmers were investing in the stock market. It really, you know, and then eventually they didn't understand. For some people, it's still a form of gambling. So that's the danger part.
Will this be a bubble?
I mean,
Bitcoin.
well, you know, depends on how you define it. From 17,000 to 13,000, that to me smells and sounds like a bubble.
Okay.
Diba?
So, we have a question. There was one interesting question while I was looking at it. And very, very good. Ask ko lang po, how about, si Janet
Hi, Janet.
Reyes. Ask ko lang po, how about if I have 2 rented houses and I want to sell one to invest sa UITF? Kasi yung property ko, may maintenance po. What's your advice po? Continue renting it or sell it?
Depends ha. Alam mo, the value of, you know, I'm a benefactor of rental income.
Okay.
I mean, it shows our age, you know. So, shows my age. The pro and con niya, rents don't really get much, but the stability is coming in. I mean, it's always there. It's always a cash flow. You don't get that in from the UITF.
Okay.
UITF is all about capital appreciation. Do you want to get... But the advantage of rental income is hindi ka magugutom. Meron ka ng pera, no? And so forth, and your asset is there. If I really have to take a look at your whole situation, but I probably would tell you to keep it.
Okay.
And have it rented.
If he doesn't need the money.
Yeah, keep it. And then build your UI. Kasi pwede mo naman yung income mo from the rental, maybe some of it invest in the UITF.
Tsaka baka nabili pa niya yung property na mas mura before.
Yeah.
Okay, so it would be better to
keep it.
hold on to that. Okay.
Hold on.
Okay.
Lalo na yan, kumikita na yan. Okay.
Okay, so now,
And your children will love you for that.
so we have, should they put their properties under a corporation or should it be under their name na lang?
And that's really dependent on the situation, depends on the family dynamics, and so forth and so on. There are no hard and fast rules for these things. Some people, it doesn't, okay lang sa pangalan nila. Some people, it's a little bit easier now because this asset tax is cheaper, no? 6% lang naman. So, parang it negates, corporation ko ba, 6% lang naman yung tax na ngayon. So, depends. Or you can put in the corporation because it's really a company, no? That you really want to run it. So, it really depends on the needs.
Nila. Ito pa, very, very interesting question. I would get a lot of questions from OFWs that are, parang magkakaibigan sila abroad, they have extra money, they're thinking na, hey, instead na we buy a condo, then we take out a loan, tas may risk pa yun, why not? All of us na lang, tig 1 million tayo, we pool our money, then buy a condo, then put it under a corporation. Is that recommended?
Alam mo yan, Marvin, depende yan on your relationship. No? Kung magkakapatid, nag-aaway-aaway. So, it really depends on the dynamic, depends on those things. There's no perfect situation. I've seen partnerships and, group people that, no contracts or anything are okay. And I've seen really ones na talagang, talagang nag-aaway. Hanggang ngayon, hindi na nag-uusap. So, my rule is, relationship is more important than money. So, that's my rule. That's why...
But would that be safer than yung nangyayari kasi their alternative is may isang tao nakapangalan sa kanya lahat? I think that's relatively
From a legal perspective, it's riskier. But again, pwede naman naka-corporation pero may mandadaya, may manggugulang. So,
tsaka yung fees din for the corporation is
meron
more
yan
expensive. Tsaka yung filing.
It really depends on how big the baka mamaya yung rental income niya maliit lang, hindi sulit.
Okay.
Baka 15,000 lang.
So, interesting. Tax insurance, real estate, Bitcoin.
Pag kinorporate mo yan, may require na yan a certain report.
Okay.
Require na yan certain things, tax, ang income niya magiging corporate tax. Tapos, ang daming complication yan. Ngayon, pati SSS, saan ang employee mo? Ba't wala SSS yan?
So, kailan pa ba nila yung employee pag property lang?
The SEC sometimes asks it kasi parang it's a corporation, should have its employees, therefore SSS will, we've seen some cases like that.
Okay. Paulo Tibig, our friend, just released his 2018 Negosyo Insights.
Hi, Paulo.
Is there anything there that appealed to you na, oo nga, no, parang this is a business that I think I should invest on na instead na mag-mutual fund ako, instead na baka interesting yung business na shinare ni Paulo?
Alam mo, Marvin, in a way, like, we're all entrepreneurs, no? Pero really depends on you yan talaga I mean, business will always generate better returns than say investments like the stock market, mutual funds, or whatever. But then again, the risks are higher. And really, it depends on your skills, skill-based. Not everybody is called to be an entrepreneur. So if you're an entrepreneur, of course, a good entrepreneur will make money whether the economy is good or bad.
Okay, because?
That's the way they're designed. They can really find opportunities. They can find for a way to, like in your case, Marvin makes money in his sleep. Ganun siya
Pero this is a good story na I was talking to the
Mamaya
owner
papagupit ako, so kikita na naman siya.
Talking to the owner of Uncle Sheffy's, what he's teaching his kids right now is this. Dapat, sabi niya, yung rule of thumb nyo is dapat, pag tulog kayo, kumikita pera nyo. Kasi kung hindi ganun yung nangyayari, habang buhay kayo nagising na magtatrabaho. That's what he said.
Ayan yung mga entrepreneur.
Mga ganun.
Yung mga ganun sila
Okay, question lang from Senib nga. Sabi niya, hi, what's your opinion on buying a pre-selling prime location condo then reselling it upon completion? Is that a profitable strategy?
Yes and no.
Okay.
There are times that the market has gone up so fast. Then it actually did. But I think even property for me is very long-term in nature. So by the time it's completed, I don't think you're gonna make that much money out of it. So
Okay. But
if you're gonna wait for quite some time, then it will.
But I think there's a risk also. What if no one buys it from them?
Yes, or what if it doesn't go up?
Okay. Pero
Kasi there are, prices can be artificial eh. Developers can say that this price will go, pero nobody's buying. Remember, price is the point where people are willing to buy it. So even somebody says that this is the amount and nobody buys it, that's not the price.
okay.
So that's a tricky part.
So what do you suggest? What do you suggest for him?
Think longer term. If you're gonna do that, don't. Here's the thing. If you're gonna make money by the time it's completion time, then go sell it.
Okay. Tapos yung
But if not, you have to be willing to wait.
problem niya kung wala siyang pangbayad ng remaining.
Isa pa yun.
Oh,
So
or
risky na
no
yun.
one, no one would take out a loan for him also.
Utangin mo pa and everything. So, may risk yan.
So mas high, what's a higher degree of risk for you? Paparent mo siya or yung ganun flip mo after?
Ako, I'd rather have it rented than flip it.
Okay. Safer?
You know, our markets are also come to a point na it's more and more difficult to flip it. Kasi mahal na properties ngayon eh. Dati pwede, pero ngayon medyo mahal na properties, so it's harder to flip it. And then there's also the supply. There's a lot of supply today.
Okay.
The balance of supply and demand, there's enough supply. I mean, I know that demand is still high, but you know, there's a lot of options, there's a lot of supplies today. So that's why even rental is gonna be a
But if they want
challenge.
to rent it, what's more ideal? Especially for those who are starting, parent sila ng 1-bedroom studio versus a 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom na house or townhouse.
Ako, personal to again, I like the studios kasi it's easier to rent out. It's easier to, you know, it's cheaper, it's easier to rent out. If I were to buy a 3-bedroom property or 3 studios, I'll buy 3 studios. Kasi 1 bedroom, umalis lang yan, wala ka na rent. Eh, sa tatlo, one or the others.
Developer of choice.
I go with the big ones.
Okay.
I go with the big stable ones. Kasi, again, depends, you know.
Uso pa ba ngayon yung mga hindi natatapos na building like nung nangyari ng 80s at 90s or it's much safer
Leaky,
now?
I haven't heard of. Ang alam ko marami na delay.
Okay.
Pero unlike before, no, yung hindi natapos talaga, no, stuff. Lately now, I think the market has kind of matured also. Hindi na. But syempre, kung delay, I know for fact na they got delayed 3, 4, 5 years. And
5 years?
That's really bad.
Tagal nung plot twist nun.
Tagal nun.
Ito interesting
Tsaka
question.
stress nun, grabe.
Interesting question. Are memorial plots good investments? Question ni Edison Patricio.
Well, alam mo, gagamitin mo naman yan. So,
Okay.
so, but
Nag-appreciate din ba yan?
Actually, it does.
Talaga,
Nag-appreciate din yan.
faster than houses?
Really depends eh. You
Okay.
know,
Ako kasi gagawin ko, parking lot bibiling ko eh, kasi at feeling ko
pero,
supply and
ito,
demand.
personal story. We actually made money from some memorial plots that our parents and grandparents bought that were in excess. They sold it at a good price.
So flinip niyo yun.
hindi nagamit eh. Hindi pinlit.
Okay.
Hindi nagamit kasi, you know.
Flinimate sila or something
Hindi.
naman?
They bought more than one eh.
Okay. Kala ko, okay.
Alam mo, you only need one.
Okay,
But
so,
we didn't buy it because it's an investment. We bought it because we're going to use it. And eventually, I was talking to a tita the other day. She kind of forgot she bought 2 or 3.
Okay. Yung mga funeral plans, memorial plans.
Yan is really more for usage talaga yan.
Okay.
It's really for more usage.
Hospital shares.
Again, it depends. You have to know who the hospital managers are, who's going to run the hospital. And if you're a doctor, that makes sense. But I just won't buy it outright just because some people made money out of it. You do your own study.
Okay, question.
May dangers din yan. No?
BDO long-term 5 years, then selling. Phil equity long-term 5 years before selling. I don't get the question.
Oh, BDO, the share.
Is it okay to do so? Hindi, Phil equity eh.
Hindi, BDO, the stock na long-term, bibili mo yung BDO or bibili mo ng Phil equity, which is a mutual fund.
5 years before selling. Okay.
Iba, alam mo, again, just to remind, you know, when you buy an equity fund, it's a diversified portfolio inside. Either it's an index or a broad equity or an alpha. It has multiple. The advantage is it's diversified. No? The advantage of a single stock is it can go 20, 30, 40, 50% growth. But it can also go down. So the risk and return now varies.
And sayang, BDO was one of the best performing stocks last year. So if you positioned sana last year, it would have been a very, very handsome return for you as well.
Marvin, this is where I want to caution a lot of people. There's a tendency to compare some stocks with an index or a fund. You're not supposed to do that. You're not comparing an apple with an apple. There is you would go into a fund because you want a diversified portfolio. You want to ride on market gains from a macro level. You go individual stocks because you believe in the performance of the stock or the company. So
Okay.
so may difference yan eh. So
Interesting.
like what Marvin's saying. Kung bibili ka ng stocks tapos tipong 15 stocks, huwag ka na mag-index ka na, di ba? So,
Tanong ni Jemmy
my wife
Lontok.
was walking at the back.
Tanong ni Jemmy Lontok, will agriculture be a good year this year? RFP yan, Jemmy Lontok
Alam
from
mo,
Dubai.
last year was a good year, and I really pray. It's really important that our agri really good. I think so, because consumption, we can afford more.
Should people actually start agri-businesses na lang din? Kasi that's something that hasn't really been, I guess, as utilized for Filipinos.
Alam mo, it's kind of sad, no? Our friends ito, Dong Kakanando, would always, lalo na kunyari, your family has a farm, and it's a good idea, no? But kung hindi mo naman linya yan, tipong you've always been a finance or an engineer or a doctor, it might not something to, you might want to consider, no? But if you know, like your family was in that business before, then I'm kind of guilty, no, because my father was into aquaculture.
But is there a
and
chance?
none of us actually.
Is there a chance that it will grow this year? Is it actually where the economy is headed right now, or
You know, agri is
naman?
always is supposed to always grow because it's we will always consume food. Right now, the reason why we have a struggle with agri is the way we manage our agricultural industry, a sector. So
Ano, it's more of the government now, or wala talaga nag-invest? There's no
both cases yan. Also the culture that has we did not train properly. It's the reason why it's not everybody wants to be a farmer because they're
the glamorous.
they're in abject poverty. So
Okay.
it's hard eh. So unlike in other countries where the farmer is
Very
middle
rich.
class or at least ganyan. So that's why some of them, I'd rather be a maid, I'd rather be a janitor than be a farmer because even as a janitor at least may sinisweldo ko. So those things needs to change. But I'm kind of bullish and prayerful that it's beginning to get to where there.
Okay.
BDO Life. Sagot, si
And then
Jedi.
he wasn't asking for he wasn't asking for BDO Life versus Phil Equity.
BDO Life is a bank assurance product. It's a VUL, no? When you compare a VUL with a mutual fund, it's not comparing an apple and an orange. Mutual fund is purely investment. A VUL, the one being offered by BDO Life, is investment and insurance. If you need the insurance, you need to protect somebody, you want easy transfer, you want to be able to, transfer to the next generation easier, and so forth and so on, that's going to be more advantageous to you. But if you're only just looking at purely from an investment perspective, I feel equity will be better than a BDO Life. Now, but I'm married, I have children, then, I need the insurance protection, then the VUL will be better.
If people, normally kasi sa insurances, they get offered a plan. 1 million, 2 million, 3 million protection. Should they automatically go with what was offered to them? Or how can they validate that tama naman yung in-offer sa kanila na
Alam mo,
insurance?
ask your advisor to do a needs analysis
Okay.
para makita mo talaga yung basis. They have to be able to do that.
Kasi,
Hindi dapat ini-invento lang yung face amount.
kasi sometimes parang, kung ano
Wala
yung
lang.
offer, or that they would is that
Hindi,
suggest?
maraming 5 million. Hindi, may 4 ako. O 3, 2, 1. Kahit 500 pwede.
Okay.
Sira na yan eh. There's an interesting here, no? And this is for Marvin. Which is better, UITF or stocks? Or mutual funds or stocks?
Stocks. Stock. Again, it depends. So I have UITFs, pero I like stocks kasi I like the ability of, if you hold it for the long term, you get paid dividends every year.
Here's the thing. If you're Marvin and you go through all of these things, stocks is better. But if you're like me, that's very, very passive, that, just objective, a mutual fund or UIT could be better.
Tsaka,
Depending kung sino.
I think yun yung mali ng ibang tao. They try to compare their gains with other people.
You can't.
Tsaka you don't.
I think you also have to understand that for me to be able to make money in stocks, I need to be able to spend a lot of time on it. I have to check on it. I have to do a lot of technical and fundamental analysis of. I don't need to do that in a mutual fund.
Pero tama, di ba? You don't need to compare your gains with other people. Kasi iba nagpapayabangan
Dapat
parang, dito
objective-based
ka, 100% kasi dito.
Kasi kino-compare nila yung gains, hindi nila kino-compare yung losses.
Okay.
I agree. Do an FNA first, yes.
Meron isang nag-post dito. Good day, sirs. Meron pa. Ayun, which month is better to buy a UITF and then which is a good month to sell it?
I don't look at UIT from that perspective. I look at it from objective based talaga. I don't buy it based on the good month. I buy it because there's a need. I buy it because of my strategy, and then I sell it when I think it's already time to sell it because it already hit my objective.
We haven't talked about bonds, no? Would you suggest people to still go into bonds right now, especially those that want to be safe but they want growth? Pero mahirap yun eh. You want to
This
be
is
safe.
not much growth in a bond per se. It's designed to be just to be way a little bit above inflation and so forth and so on. If your money you just want to earn it a little bit and you don't want to touch it, then bonds is great.
Okay.
Retired ka na or mag-retire ka na, then go for bonds. Pero kamukha ni Marvin, 45 pa lang. So,
Stocks na lang. Okay. Stocks or
combination.
combination of everything. Okay.
Like I saw something there. Okay.
Crowdfunding.
Top-notch RFP coaches, I thought, on crowdfunding platforms in Pen. Okay, Kenya, we had that discussion with our friend, no? We have to wait for regulations about it. SEC is kind of cracking down on these things. Singapore has legislation on it already. So, concept-wise, I like crowdfunding, but you have to be very, very careful.
What about crowdfunding that gives you fixed returns? That parang guarantee you na parang, oh, you get this amount na fixed.
Yan nakakatakot. Kasi alam mo daw, crowdfunding is all about it's a cooperative, no? Pag kumita. Pag nalugi-lugi. Pero pag nakakuna ng return yan, be careful na. It's scam-ish.
Oh, very, very scary pag ganun.
It's not supposed to work like that. The fact that it's not supposed to work like that makes me question that.
Okay. Couple of questions before we put this to a close, no? How do you see the Philippines in the next year? Especially for people who are just planning to invest right now. Kasi parang we always tell people that you investing in equity funds, stocks, or real estate is you believing that the economy will actually do well.
No, Mario, we've been doing this for quite some years. Hindi pa naman tayo nagkakamali, no?
Okay.
I mean, so far, you know. When we start, just for perspective, when I was telling people that stock market's good, what? 1,200 yung equity stock index, you know, parang those things are a good idea. I think it's always a good idea to invest. But again, you have to invest according to your objectives, according to your time frames, according to your risk preferences. So 2018, 2019, it's immaterial. It's an issue of what are you investing for? Why are you doing it? So it's important. That's why we have to teach people.
Should they take into consideration of the political climate pag nag-change yung senators, congressmen, pag nag-change ng leaders? Is that very, very significant in their mutual funds or their equity funds?
When you're a true blue investor, you have to be cognizant of politics, but you also have to tune out from political noise.
Okay.
Some of these are just noises. So I think the Filipino investor have already matured from political noise. Si Marvin bata pa, but during our time, bad political news crashes the market. Ngayon, hindi na. Market is, there are other things that the market is looking at. Dollar siya, gumalaw. No?
Okay.
Now, hindi na ganun.
Pero since the dollar is high, is there anything interesting for Filipinos to invest on in connection to the dollar?
Depends. Dollar earner ka ba? Dollar user?
Earner?
Kung dollar earner ka, hindi ko na invest for more. Like for instance, you're an OFW. You want to be able to... They remember there was a time that the market was down and the dollar was up. Remember we were been telling a lot of their OF friends, perfect time.
But will there be businesses or investments that will do well because of this? Mag-money changer sila? Is that something lucrative or something?
I don't know, the business is really dependent on demand and supply talaga yan. So, that's a problem. You can't just categorize because the dollar up, this business will do well. That's for me, that's a misnomer. It can do well, or dollar is up, your business can go south, or vice versa. Let's say you're an importer. It doesn't mean that the dollar is up, you're gonna lose money. Yeah, growing in foreign exchange sometimes can be an indication of economic activity. Because it's economic activity, even if prices are a little bit higher, people have more capacity to buy. So,
okay.
We have to hinihimay yan eh. We want to be, at least tayo, as advocates, want to be careful of the statements that we make that can be taken. I think we have to mature as investors also to humimay ng information and so forth and so on.
That's
why we need to keep on teaching people.
Like, humingi ng fearless forecast, do you think that the market will correct this year, or you expect a correction?
You know, market will always correct. That's the nature of the game. But markets, here's what my prediction is: the market's gonna go down, but the market's gonna go up also. So, at the end of the day, what are you investing for? What is your time horizon? You have to put your strategies in. Ay, si Marvin, mas tinuturo niya lagi. Naglalabas na ng pera yan pag na-hit niya yung objectives. Pag hindi, so far.
Lagay lang ng lagay. We have 3 events together.
Yes.
Money Talks on March in Dubai, UAE.
Yes.
Okay, then we have Icon 2018 this May.
And then we have our first.
I'd like to talk about that first. We have Investing Insights 2018 this January 20 in SMX Aura. What can they expect from you?
I'm gonna give you the total, the map of what's going on the economy and investment horizon, and how to be able to actually prepare. Again, at the end, we still have to teach them. We have to do it properly. You don't just look investing from what 2018 will bring you. You have to look at it from a longer-term perspective. Let's say you're preparing for retirement or education for your kids. Then you have to really look at from that perspective. We'll teach you that.
Should people expect also that? Is there a good combination of investments also and a good mix na they could diversify? Kasi nangyayari ngayon is, I have this amount, okay, bonds, stocks, insurance, divided by 3 na lang yan, equally divided. Is that the way you suggest it for people to
Alam mo, depends. If that works for you, then go ahead. No, it's still diversified. So again, we have to be careful about that formula that everybody wants. It's non-existent. Marvin's strategy is always going to be different from me because one, I'm way older. I have more kids, and stuff like that. He earns more money. So again, it's going to be lesser on that perspective. So it really depends on what you want. That's why we want to be able to give them the tools. The programs that we teach you is, we don't force feed. We don't tell you this is blah blah blah. We teach you how to do it. That's a difference.
Pero is it very important for them also start of the year na instead of investing first to also invest in themselves? Is that important?
Of course, diba? I mean,
to learning
capacity
as well?
Remember, money, the investments are just it's you who make the money.
Okay.
Yung money, I remember, I love Dodong said, money doesn't really beget money. It's what you do with money that begets money. So you have to be able to learn on that focus. Never invest in something you don't understand. Tell you something, so you want to be able to study and learn from those things. And I'm excited because Marvin's going to tell you the detail. I'm going to tell you the macro and so forth, but all the hard stuff, all the nosebleed stuff, Marvin's going to take care of it. I'm there for the entertainment value.
Okay. One sentence. What should they look forward for this year?
Growth.
Okay.
I'm excited for growth,
Dollar will go higher or lower?
There's a pressure for it to go a little bit higher, but not sharp corrections.
Okay. If there's a company that will go IPO, what do you want, San? What company na you've been waiting for that could possibly come
Stock
out?
Smart's Enterprise.
Stock Smart's Enterprise.
Talas Manila.
Is there a book coming out this year?
Well, I'm trying to write a book about fathers. It's not just the money that I do. So let's see. Maybe I'm gonna, one of the things I'm passionate about is, financial planning, personal finance. But the other side of me is ministry. So I really wanna, I'm a father, and I want, Filipinos to be better fathers. So I might be partnering with Pastor Dennis on doing this. Our good friend.
Okay.
We're so, fatherhood is important for us.
Okay, I will cross the bridge when when I get there.
That's a personal for me. When I write about fatherhood and being a good husband, and if may manliligaw sa anak ko, the book, I'm gonna give that book. So.
To my brother, please. joke lang. Baka maging di ba?
Magalit yung anak natin tsaka kapatid mo na.
Last na lang. What does stewardship mean to you?
To put at the end of the day, people always think that stewardship is all about giving your tithes and stuff like that. God is not just concerned with what you do with the 10%. God is just as concerned with what you do with the 90% as well. So the whole 100%. For me, money is being used for God's purpose. That's more important. That's something that you need to understand. The reason why I teach people to, handle money wealth, Well, because I want them to be good stewards of God's ano. Nothing is, we don't own anything. Everything is the Lord's. So, di ba? You have to, kay Lord yan eh. One day may audit yan. Mau-audit ka niyan.
Alright, so yeah, any parting words na lang?
I just want to ask, interview, what are they gonna expect naman from your side?
Sa akin, what specific investments based on what's happening? Kasi we've mentioned pa lang we've mentioned taxes pa lang, but there's a lot of things to consider also.
We might even consider talking about property insights as well. Ano?
Yeah, kasi there's interest rates also for me kasi there's a couple of things that will impact investments. Interest rates will be there, inflation will be there also. Anong impact nun? Sino yung matatamaan? Sino yung pinaka...
Yung interest rates 5 taon na yung tataas, dito mataas.
Sino yung, dito mataas. Then, it's also slated that the Fed sa US will raise rates 3 times next year. So,
that's interesting, no? Kasi, are we really decoupled or are we not? No? Yung mga concerns natin titignan.
Pero yung interesting doon, if they raise rates 3 times next year, that's 0.75% already. So, malaking... that's a large amount already, especially for
them,
for big funds. And then at the end of the day, we're still dominated by foreign funds. Although madami ng institutional funds ngayon na local, pero ano pa rin madaming foreign funds. And if we want the market to go higher, it can't just be locals alone. It has to be locals and.
I'm not happy that locals are really growing.
Pero there's more. Kaso sayang it's still sa stocks. It's still less than 1%. It really hasn't. Gone up that much.
Well, if they can't go stocks, at least they go funds.
Sana.
Pero it's not enough din, guys. Even if you consider funds, it's not that great.
And hopefully this causes people to actually start businesses.
Alam mo yung ginagawa lang, mag-invest lang tayo.
And
hindi, wag niyo invest lahat ng pera niyo, mag-invest lang kayo ng konti.
And yun yung sa akin. I really hope that that's why we really...
So, January 20, we're gonna show a link somewhere.
It's there. It's posted there, below.
The link. I mean,
investing insights.
Not that we're selling the idea. Is that this is just limited, no? Because we it's a little bit more intimate than our usually big icons and stuff. It's just Marvin and me. It's quite limited. So you want to be able to secure your slot soon. We're gonna run out of slots.
Small session.
Soon. Small session, intimate ones there. Then for our OFWs, we're gonna be in Dubai. We're gonna be with Marvin,
Salve Dupito,
and Tony Herbosa.
Yeah, money talks.
And then, of course, our annual icon thing.
So
that's interesting.
January, March, and May 2018.
We probably also have our Cagayan de Oro Cebu runs somewhere.
But they'll be there already also this month with Dodong Kakanado and Denise Kakanado. Yun yung inaabangan ko, Denise Kakanado.
Ay, inaabangan mo ka, wala kayo. No? So, yeah. And I think we're planning on something in Cebu, Iloilo, and these places. We really want to push this financial literacy everywhere.
Okay,
so Marvin's going to be in London. I'm going to be in Dubai. I'm scheduled for Japan. So
sarap, Sapporo. And Tokyo.
Tokyo for an event. So for
okay.
Sapporo, ano yan? Fun lang yan.
What else? Yun lang. Last personal question. Do you have a target that you want to save up for this year? Kotse, bahay, or something else? Or more investments?
Alam mo, this year, my personal strategy is a little bit different.
Interesting, no? Interesting. Look at this. He has a... What do you call this?
What? What's that? It's a retro
record player. Very interesting. Are you planning to buy more retro?
Maybe in Talas.
Ay, madami doon sa Cubao Expo sa likod, madami.
Alam mo, personally, Marvin, I always content. I'm easily contented. I have plans, I have targets, I want to be able to build on, add on to my retirement and stuff. But I think this year my target is a little bit different. This is really more about improving me, myself as a person. So I might consider going abroad to study, take a sabbatical.
Talaga?
A little bit of a
Saan ba yan? Sa Hawaii ba yan?
I don't know yet. I'm praying about it.
Sama kami ni Jason Lo. Happy
Dave,
birthday, Jason Lo.
I'm considering Dave Ramsey program also, and those things. So it's a combination of finance and ministry, or maybe attending in the Financial Planners Annual Congress, stuff like that. So
Tony Robbins?
No way. So I want to be able to do that as well. So parang that's it's investing on another way.
Learning naman.
The learning side. So we never stop learning.
So you can never give what you don't have.
Yeah, of course. Plus, the usual stuff that I need to do left and right. Minsan, mababaw lang ako. I'm not like Marvin.
Hindi ako, kape nga lang. Masaya na ako eh. Pinapabili ko lagi, puro kape. Kape, coffee.
People think, no, the thing with Marvin and I, when we go out, to just buy good
2,
coffee.
3 glasses of cups of coffee per day. The best.
Did you like my coffee today?
Oh, tapang. Pero masarap. Masarap. Yeah.
Oh, yan ang investment namin, coffee machine.
Ako, wala ako. So, if meron gusto mag-sponsor or coffee machine, we will plug you online.
Just, because Marvin talked about my coffee machine, may personal finance lesson yun. The reason why I have good coffee machines, number 1, I love coffee. Number 2, it saves me money. Unlike Marvin, he spends so much money in coffee shops. I don't. Because my coffee in the house is better.
Pero, if you go to a coffee shop, spend 150, 160, 170, cheaper than renting an office. So, financial planning wise,
Meron ako mas maganda ako dyan. Because I used to do laundry for the family. I would go to a, coin-operated laundry. Naglo-laundry na ako, I write my books there. O, diba?
Pwede din. So, when will they expect the book?
I don't know.
Wala pa.
Sana end of the year.
End of the year. Okay.
Marvin writes once a year. I can't keep up with that guy. I can't keep up with that guy.
I hope I get to do it. I hope, pero I don't think abot sa Icon. So, probably, baka end of the year.
I don't even consider publishing one in the Icon.
Yeah. So, that's it. Do you have anything else pa?
Maybe,
yeah.
Marvin, siguro a few years ago, we were thinking about writing a book together, no?
Writing
so maybe,
a book.
I don't know, maybe next year.
Sana matuloy na. Oo, parang love life ng iba, hindi pa nangyayari.
Puro kami drawing.
Parang ganun, yeah.
Anyway, see you, January 20, Again, please do not miss this. It's an intimate, at saka, sa January 20, they can actually approach us and we'll actually sit down with them and really guide them.
SMX oral lang siya. So, very close to everyone. So, you have questions about how you want to strategize, I guess, your investments for 2018.
Yes.
It's a good way to start it, no? Better start the year properly na na-plan nyo yung investments nyo way before things happen.
You can read Marvin's top 5 surefire money-making stock tips.
Boom! Oh, yeah.
Guaranteed, pag hindi kumita, he'll refund the loss.
Boom! Yeah, hindi naman. No, there's no such thing as a guaranteed investment. The only guaranteed investment is love. Yeah. Low risk, high reward. Totoo. Ayaw niyo mag-comment, pero sa akin, totoo. Hindi ako gwapo eh. So, kailangan mag-invest sa love.
Hindi ka gwapo, mayaman ka naman. Kaya kami love na. Hi, Mon.
So, there. I hope, yun lang. I hope that you guys make it. We really want to change the narrative of how Filipinos invest, that it's not just earning that becomes a priority, but it becomes improving yourself and building yourself as an individual, because you will only go as high as what you know here. The best financial decision you will make is knowing that you've, I guess, dotted all the I's together, you've studied everything, which is the pros and the cons, na hindi lang kayo nag-i-invest dahil habol nyo kumita ng pera. And that's the best way to lose money, na you're just chasing returns, you're buying at the hope of making money. I've seen so many people lose money that way. We just really want more Filipinos to be better off financially.
Wiser.
So,
he sounds like a motivational speaker, doesn't he?
Power, everyone. Power! Power. So,
bye.
Yeah, goodbye everyone. Have a great day ahead.
I'm gonna get my hair cut.
Yeah, if na-late siya, Pablo Santos, I'm sorry. It's 5:30 na.
Bye-bye.
I'm late for my meeting also. Okay, bye everyone.